Exposure can lead to an elevated risk of cancer due to damage to DNA within the body's living cells, regulators warned. So I'm just chilling in the RV, doing a little bit of work while the baby is taking his afternoon nap. And I happened to come across an article, and I'm seriously, this headline is so wild to me. So we're just going to read it and see what this is about, because this is just pretty out there. So the New York Post reports that the FDA urges Walmart to recall potentially radioactive shrimp and cites heightened cancer risks. So, I don't know about you. I don't eat shrimp. I used to, but I just don't anymore. My mom has been on my case for years to get me to stop eating it. She's like, oh, those are bottom feeders. You don't need that. So this doesn't necessarily impact my household. I don't purchase shrimp, and I actually have someone in my household with a shrimp allergy, or shellfish allergy. So we'll go ahead and get into the article. U.S. regulators are warning customers not to eat or serve potentially radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart, citing possible health dangers, including a higher risk of cancer. Frozen raw shrimp sold by Walmart's private label Great Value has been recalled after U.S. Customs and Border Protection detected cesium 137 in the supplier's shipping containers at ports in Los Angeles, Houston, Savannah, and Miami. So really my concern is, what is this cesium thing? But we'll go ahead and continue the article, and then we'll figure that part out. But if you have recently purchased raw frozen shrimp from Walmart that matches this description, throw it away. Do not eat or serve this product, the FDA said in a press release Tuesday, which is today. Cesium 137 is a radioisotope that is typically man-made through nuclear reactions. Long-term, low-dose exposure can lead to an elevated risk of cancer due to damage to DNA within the body's living cells, regulators warned. So the FDA's own lab testing confirmed the presence of that chemical in one sample of breaded shrimp from the same supplier. PT Bahari Makmur Sejati, an Indonesian company that does business as BMS Foods. So this is an imported item, and I think that, this is another reason why we really are going to have to be more serious about pulling away from the foods that are produced by these major companies. I'm not saying that things can't go wrong with food that you purchase that's grown locally, but the odds of something like this happening are likely way, way lower. It seems as if these industries have so many different regulations and standards that they are held to, and yet we're coming across recalls that make absolutely no sense. Let me see if they have any details about how this could have happened. Well, it says Customs and Border Protection is working with Indonesia's seafood regulatory agencies to determine the cause of contamination. Now, one thing that I know is that a lot of people just don't care. It's like if they don't see an immediate reaction with something that they're putting in their mouths, they just kind of don't care. But this one is something that can creep up on you, or it can happen really fast. Who knows how long it's going to take someone who's been exposed to this chemical to have a reaction. This is very serious. And, if you are someone who eats shrimp and who has recently purchased it, please check the link in the description. I'm going to put the information there so that you can know exactly what to do if you have been affected. And I'm just going to be honest with you. As most preppers, we know the very real threat of biological warfare. And I'm not saying that this is that, but I'm saying that it could happen this way. We import so many things, and we are so dependent on all these systems. And so if someone decides they want to hurt us on a mass scale, on a very large scale, the food is an easy avenue for that to happen. And so just want to encourage you to, if you are someone who eats shrimp and has purchased from shrimp from Walmart recently, you want to definitely follow up on this. Throw the stuff away, or at least, of course, have a record that you had this as a purchase, and so that you can follow up and hopefully be compensated. I know it's probably not going to happen because they're going to be like, oh, how would you say that you got cancer from this? You guys, there's just so much going on. Okay. So if that's my first piece of advice. If you have been affected by this, please follow up immediately and share it with people that you know may have also purchased this item. Secondly, you know, when situations come up like this, it just makes you think about what can you do in your own household to minimize your dependence on these large scale food production facilities. I would just say try to do as much as you can to produce for yourself. My family now has a group of people. We're all mostly located on the East Coast, and we have a family on the West Coast, and we're all growing and raising livestock, and we have discussed our plans to trade with one another, barter with one another, to really be able to get past whatever this situation is that we're about to be dealing with, or that we are actively dealing with. There's so much going on, guys, and a lot of people believe that they have barriers to growing. And, I think that, if you are in a physical condition that prevents you from growing, that's understandable. I think that you are just going to have to see what your best options are for getting locally grown fresh produce. You're going to have to do what you can to get better food, plain and simple. A lot of people are very dependent on these systems, and as you can see, the systems are collapsing. To me, this makes no sense whatsoever. How does something like this happen? But we don't know the root cause yet, so I think that it is important that we stay tuned and try to figure that out. But this is a very serious situation, and it's a perfect example of how when we are reliant upon these major corporations for our food, there are a number of things that can go wrong. And so, in order for us to regain our power over our ability to feed ourselves nutritious, healthy, clean food is, we're going to have to grow, and we're going to have to share that responsibility amongst the people in our communities, amongst the family members, amongst whoever else is on the same journey and has that same mindset. Obviously, you're not going to be able to find that with a lot of people. A lot of people are just lazy. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to, they may starve to death, or they may turn to a life of crime. Those are really the only two options. Other than that, you're going to have to figure out something to do, like figure out how to do this on your own. And, of course, people who have a ton of money, who are very wealthy, they may have the funds to do a variety of things to insulate themselves from what's going on. But the average American is not really in that position. And so, rather than complaining, I think we really have to be the ones to change, and that's it. It's complaining is not going to change the situation. The only thing that's going to change your ability to have access to good food is putting your hands in the dirt, or getting your food from an alternative source like a local farmers market or CSA, something. But the time is now. There's no more time to complain. And speaking of food, you guys, I have to get going. It's time to get started on dinner. The sun is starting to really, ooh, I'm looking like I'm glowing. Okay. Let me get off this thing, and I'll talk to you on the next one. No one is coming to save you, but you have the power to save yourself. And my heart goes out to anybody who's affected by this, because it sounds really awful. And I just encourage you to check the description for the link to go directly to get the information about the recall. I'll talk to you on the next one.